One.
KLEK LP Jonesboro, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council. It's now time for Community Conversations, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place, while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters or sponsors.
Welcome to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. It is Tuesday morning, and thank goodness it is not as cold as it has been. So, today we're going to get right into our show. I am so, elated, excited to have our special guest with us today. And we've tried to do this before, but it's all in God's timing. So today was just the perfect day for you to be here. I have Mrs. Viola Turner. Is that what you want to go, Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Mrs. Viola Turner and Mrs. Valarie Peoples, and they are here we're from Colors for a Cause. And if you haven't picked up an Arkansas Christian Journal, then you need to get one, because she has been highlighted all over the place because she's doing such a great job going on and speaking about her cause. So I'm not going to tell you more. I want her to tell you more, one, about herself, and then how you got involved in this, and then also Ms. Valarie, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself and then how you became involved, and then we'll get into more details.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Praise God. It's such an awesome day, to be here this morning. Like she said, it's not cold outside, so it's so amazing. And Happy New Year to everyone. First of all, I just want to say, God is so amazing, and I give God the glory, because my life, it truly shows the glory of God. And God has a way of turning your ashes into beautiness, and so that's what He has done for me. I was born and raised in West Helena, Arkansas. I am a native from there. I currently live here now in Jonesboro, Arkansas. I am a member of Anointed Praise under the leadership of Apostle Lizzie Mays. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. I've been here in Jonesboro now for about 3 years, going on 4 years now. I moved here in May of 2013. I moved here through the tragic death of my son, Albert Andrew Spencer Jr. I lost him to gun violence. And God gave me a vision to start a nonprofit organization called Colors for a Cause. And I asked God, I said, why did you say colors? He said, because I wanted you to be able to reach all nationality of children. And so we stayed in Memphis basically all our lives, got married, moved to Dallas, Texas, moved to Memphis in 2000. And Albert was raised in Memphis, Tennessee, practically all his life. He graduated from Southwind High School. So now let me get back to the subject of me losing him to gun violence. I remember the morning that Albert called me. He called me January the 12th. And he called me twice that morning. He called me until he got me. And he said, Mom, because I was down visiting my mother. And he said, Mom, I got my vacation time coming. And I said, okay, son. He said, Mama, could you tell Grandma and everybody that I want to come down and just spend some time with them? And he said, could you tell Aunt Luella to cook my favorite potato salad? And I was like, okay, I'll tell her. And he said, I got my vacation time coming. And he said, I just want you to come and pick me up. I want you to do it. I said, okay. And he said, I don't want to drive down. I just want you to pick me up. And I said, okay. I said, what about your fiance? I said, is Tish coming with you? He said, no. He said, I just want to spend some time with you guys alone. And I said, okay. But prior to that Saturday, that Friday night, God showed me 3 visions. The third thing I questioned him about, he showed me a beautiful white horse in the sky. And I asked him, I said, Lord, why did you show me that? And I looked it up in Revelation, and it represents Jesus Christ, and it means that He's a conqueror, and He's coming with the heavenly host. But never once did I ever felt my son was getting ready to leave me. So prior to that Saturday morning of Albert calling me, my aunt placed a call to me from Clarksville, Arkansas that morning. She's a minister of the gospel as well. So am I. And she said, Viola, she said, God told me to tell you something is getting ready to happen in your life, and it's going to take your prayer level to a different level. And she said, I don't quite know what it is because he did not indicate that to me, but I'm just warning you to let you know what he said. And I said, okay. So I say around 9 o'clock that night, his fiance called me and she said, Mom, she said, I hadn't heard anything from Albert. And I said, okay. I said, have you called around to any of his friends? And she was like, yeah. And I said, Tish, she was upset. I said, calm down. Everything is going to be okay. I said, call me back later, about an hour, and call me back. So when she called me back, she was just hollering and screaming on the phone. She said, something is not right. She said, I hear the police sirens running back and forth. She said, I hear the sirens from the fire truck. And I said, okay. And I said, have your sister to call. So finally, her sister got in contact with one of Albert's friends. And the friend indicated that Albert had been shot.
It's okay.
It's gonna be okay. Just let's go ahead and bring in the other lady. Kind of get her to talk a little bit more about the organization. I know it's kind of painful for the young lady that to speak on, the tragic loss of his son. Our thoughts and our prayers definitely go with you. So let's go ahead and bring in the other lady.
Miss Valarie.
Just go ahead and introduce yourself and talk about your role with the organization.
Okay, my name is Valarie Peoples, and I am a minister from Anointed Praise Outreach Ministries. I met Sister Viola through the ministry. We kind of collaborated together as in maybe praise dancing and singing and stuff like that. And she was telling me about Colors for a Cause, and I was telling her this is something great that she's doing. In this day of time, we need this.
Yes.
We need to, empower the children. We need to talk to them, let them know that, it's another way, other than using guns, and it's another way other than using violence, period.
Yes.
So when she was telling me about this, and we kind of went out to different events and did things and saw the faces of the children, and it was just mind-blowing to me, and I really want to get with her and kind of collaborate and see what we can do to help, our community.
That's right.
You're
listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM, and we're speaking with Mrs. Viola Turner and Valarie Peoples from Colors for a Cause. And Mrs. Viola, needed a break, and we really appreciate you for opening up and sharing your story, because many people need to hear this. There are many more families that are going through this. They just don't talk about it. And we're talking about this off air, about how you never know who can be delivered from your testimony. There are so many families. Thank goodness Jonesboro is not known for a lot of gun violence, but it does happen. And we just never know who's going through what. And by you sharing your story, it can help someone else open up and say, okay, let me talk about this. Let me reach out. Let me try to help save another child or another parent from going through what I'm going through. So, like I said, Mrs. Viola has been doing so much for the community, not just Jonesboro, but all over Arkansas and all over anywhere. Anyone that calls on her, she goes out. I have so many things to share here. She's recently done a banquet for the youth, and we don't want to skip over you telling your story about your son. We want to get back to that, because that's going to lead us up to another topic about organ donation. And then that can be a whole other show, but we definitely want to touch on it today. And then we want to highlight the youth banquet she recently held in December, which is also linked to, what has happened in her life. So I want to give her the opportunity to go back and pick up where she feels comfortable, talking about the story.
I'm going to talk a little bit about, sorry guys for being so emotional this morning, but that anniversary date is coming up. January the 12th is coming up. So sorry about that, but I want to talk a little bit about doing the youth banquet. Oh my God, that was such a blessing. God gave me a vision to highlight the youth in the month of December for those that have served in the spirit of excellency throughout the year. So what I did, he gave me a vision to go around to the surrounding areas: Memphis, Tennessee, Olive Branch, Mississippi, Helena, West Helena, Jonesboro, Truman, Arkansas, to interview the youth that have served in the spirit of excellency, whether it has been in sports, academics in the community, community service work, or ministry in the church. And these kids were so amazing, guys. And for who all did not come, you missed out on a treat. And these kids, I had one young man, his name is Minister Harris. He accepted his calling at the age of 14. He speaks so well. Oh my God, it's just so amazing how God has equipped him in the word, and he's Holy Ghost filled. How many young people do you find like that these days that are willing to stand up for God and live for him and teach others, his other peers? You don't find many. And I look at him as my son. I always call him my son. And I say, son, keep me in prayer. He always prays for me. He always calls me throughout the week. And he has also decided to take a position in the youth banquet every year.
Wow.
He's going to do prayer every year. He's going to do the words of encouragement. And he has a heart to serve. And it's so amazing, the youth that has a heart to serve, when a lot of the adults would not serve God at all. You can't even get them to hand out a flyer at the church, and that's a shame. And the young man, he told me, Miss Viola, he said, anything you need me to do, you need me to sing, whatever else you need me to do, I'll do it. And how many do you find like that? God said, I'm just looking for a vessel that is willing. Amen. So I thank God for his willing spirit. He's an overseer of his own church in Helena, Arkansas. He's also hosting a youth explosion January the 29th, and I will be down there, and I will bring a couple of the students from Jonesboro will be coming to and taking part in the youth explosion. So I'm very excited about that. And then I also had another young man that I was so amazed by, William Glass Jr. I was so amazed by him. He's the minister of music, and he decided to take also a leadership role. And it's so amazing how God has gifted him to play, the keyboard, the piano. And not only that, the young man can sing. He's gifted. He has a black belt in karate. This young man, what he cannot do. It's so amazing. God said that we just use that one talent, he'll give us more to add on to it. And some of us are crying out for more than one thing. But what are you using? You're not even using the very thing that God has already given you. And you want more? Come on now, people.
We're about to have service.
Well, as you see, the mood has obviously transformed. But just goes to show, earlier this young lady, she took that pain and she's turned it into a praise. So you went from pain to praise right here on Community Conversations. This is KLEK 102.5 FM.
This is what we do. This is what we're all about. We're trying to encourage, inform, empower the community. Like I said, through your testimony, we don't know who's out there listening and who's watching. And I pray that everyone is blessed and encouraged by what you have to say today. And they are motivated to get out and start doing more in the community. Our community needs us.
Not to interrupt you, but she had this room rocking. So the live view camera of the wide shot camera is actually tilted. She's rocked the room just that much. The camera has actually shifted.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Oh goodness. Okay, so, and I actually knew some of the young people that attended the youth banquet ceremony. Miss Michaela Sweeney.
Yes. Oh, she is so amazing. I love her. They call her the young Eartha Kitt.
Oh my goodness. She is a bad girl. And so I'm really proud of all the students, all the children that participated in this banquet that had the opportunity to be showcased. And I hope that next year you have many more that you can find that to be showcased.
The amazing thing about it was I wanted a rainbow of kids, and that's what God gave me. I had a rainbow, and that was so amazing because I'm for all youth.
Alrighty, and you can find this story and much more about Miss Viola in the Arkansas Christian Journal newspaper, which is also a non-profit agency within itself. So please consider getting a subscription to the Arkansas Christian Journal newspaper and keep up with what's going on around Northeast Arkansas, basically the eastern seaboard, the East Coast, the north and east coast of Arkansas. Okay. Miss Viola, she stays so busy. She has also done many talks at different schools, and also in the Arkansas Christian Journal. They highlight her most recent one at Central High School in West Helena. Was it West Helena?
West Helena, Arkansas.
Are they going to just ever change the name to one name?
And it was at Central High School.
Well, considering I am from Helena, West Helena, and all the things that are going on there now, don't bank on it.
Okay, so she went to Central High School, like I said, in the story.
Go Cougars.
Yes, and I graduated from there, class of 92.
Class of 96.
I feel outnumbered being a Trojan from Mariana, but okay.
Well, we used to whoop on y'all all the time.
Okay, that's neither here nor there.
Oh my goodness.
I ain't gonna lie, you all have gotten caught up to us lately. Y'all done got some wins on, so I'm gonna keep it real.
Alrighty. So let's talk about this school visit.
But I do have to say this on the real. It's actually good to see people from Helena and Mariana together and not actually fighting.
Yes.
That's an insider for everybody that don't know.
Yeah, because 20 years ago. Well, so anyway, okay. So let's talk about this school visit. I want to hear, what was the feedback and the atmosphere of the students?
It was so amazing. Y'all, it was as if they asked so many questions. They wanted to know what happened to Aber. They wanted to know about the young man that took part in the shooting. What was the outcome? They even asked about my faith, what got me through it. It was so amazing. It was like as if I had preached a sermon that day.
Oh, my.
And so I had so many questions that the principal, Ernest Simpson, oh, thank you, Principal Simpson, I love you, I love you, I love you. He had to stop them from answering so many questions to get on to the next part of it. And also I had another young man that has joined with me, Enos Jackson. He used to play professional football for the Cleveland Browns, and he goes out with me, but he's a police officer in Memphis, Tennessee, and he has partnered with me, and he comes down and follow me wherever I go, wherever I need him. He comes out and he teaches gun safety.
Okay.
So we teach our children how to be safe in the home if it's a gun there.
Okay.
And we teach them how to be safe in the community while they're out. You know, if shooting or something like that take place, we teach them safety.
Okay. And Miss Valarie, we don't want to leave you out of the conversation. So tell us some of the roles that you play when you go out, because I know Miss Viola was saying that you are like her right-hand person. You go out with her everywhere.
Well, I'm kind of out front but behind the scenes.
Okay.
So, I kind of help pray for her and in the background, kind of help, like hold her hand up when she needed, if she need me to MC the program, if she need me to for prayer, whatever she need me to do, I'm kind of
So basically her armor bearer.
Right, kind of bag her up.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And Sister Helen, we don't want to leave her out.
Love you, Sister Helen.
She prints out my program. The sister is bad. She's my coordinator. She helped to coordinate the banquet for me. Her and Sister Valarie. I couldn't have made it through without these two women. I thank God for them. They have been a blessing to me.
And you definitely need a good support team. You need people who believe in your vision. God gave you the vision, but you need people to believe in you and believe in your vision in order to support you, in order for the organization or whatever the program you're trying to do, in order for it to grow and just be what God intended it to be. You got to have sometimes you got to go alone, but sometimes you have people by your side, but you got to have good people.
Right.
And then also I want to mention Miss Catherine Bird from Nettleton.
Okay.
She invited me out last year. The year's coming in so fast. Okay, guys. She invited me out to their Black History program, and I spoke there concerning to gun violence, and I got a chance to share my story. And her and I, we have partnered up since then. Anything that Nettleton, her community group, does, like the Ladies of Distinction and the Gentlemen of Knowledge,
wow,
they go out with me. They went with me to KIP last year for the gun violence event, took part, helped with the youth there. They did reading for them. So it was amazing. So she's like a mother to all kids. Wow. She take them to church. How many teachers you find take them to church? She's concerned. She was so concerned about how they was dressed for the banquet. If they didn't have this or they didn't have that, she was like, please let me know. This lady chartered a bus to bring all the youth over to the banquet.
That is wonderful.
That is awesome, guys.
she did.
And then also I want to send a shout out to Mr. William Glass Sr. for how he just stepped in and he ran with the vision. And he used his business connections that he had to sell the tickets. In spite of him still, working in his shop, and he had a lot of things going on himself, he still took the time out to help me. And that was a blessing, because I was praying that God would just send those that would take my vision and run with it.
Wow.
Yeah, and he did.
Tune into Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We are with who do we have here today?
Viola Turner. Hello.
Davis, all right now.
I take that.
Okay.
We were Colors for a Cause. We have a couple Facebook shout outs, so we want to shout them out. Shout out to Kobe Parker and David Nunez listening on our live stream. We're going to get ready to go to break. You listen to Community Conversations, and this is KLEK 102.5 FM.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
Is your son equipped for manhood? I'm Mark Merrill with today's Family Minute. When my boys were young, I couldn't imagine what they'd be like as men. Before I knew it, they were growing up. Learning to catch in the backyard turned into Friday night touchdowns. The spelling bee turned into the SAT, and chasing girls on the playground turned into looking at girls in their prom gown. Before our boys become men, there are a few things we need to teach them. First, teach him to be a gentleman. Proper manners is a good place to start. Second, teach him to be respectful. He should learn to honor others, especially those in authority. For the rest of the ways to equip your son for manhood, listen to the Family First podcast at markmerrill.com. Remember, your family first.
Want to connect with Mark on Facebook? You can at facebook.com/Mark Merrill.
Family Minute is made possible by the Kappa Nu Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit organization committed to service to all mankind. Kappa Nu Omega Alpha Kappa Alpha on Facebook.
Support for KLEK is brought to you by
Tax Time is here at Car Today, the original buy here, pay here dealer. New Car Today General Manager Sean Corns.
With new inventory available daily, whatever you're looking for, we've got it.
Located on Stadium Boulevard just south of the 63 bypass, Tax Time is the time to drive at Car Today. Car Today.
New St. John Missionary Baptist Church, 308 North Main Street in Jonesboro, is under the direction of Reverend Ted T. Taylor Sr. Worship services are Sundays at 11 o'clock a.m. Sunday school is on Sundays at 9:30 a.m. Prayer service is Wednesday nights at 6:30, and Bible class is on Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock p.m. New St. John also has the Men of Standards Ministries, Outreach Ministry, Choir, Youth Ministry, Dance Ministry, and Missionary Society. www.newstjohn.org. New St. John Missionary Baptist Church on Facebook, 870-932-6915.
KLEK 102.5 FM wants to be active in the community. If you or your organization is hosting a community service event, we would like to know about it and be a part of it. KLEK will promote your event on air, online, and on social media. KLEK personalities may also attend the event and provide music and or entertainment. Certain restrictions and availability may apply. If you or your organization would like to partner with KLEK to make the Jonesboro community a better place, call 870-277-1080 or email us at klek@klekfm.org. In order for a community announcement or church announcement to be aired on KLEK 102.5 FM, we ask that the announcement be sent at minimum 1 week in advance. Thank you for supporting KLEK 102.5 FM.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK.
thank Mrs. Viola Turner and Mrs. Valarie Peoples for coming in and sharing their story and talking about this organization. So we're going to get more into talking about the organization, which is called Colors for a Cause, Reaching and Teaching, Healing and Empowering. And Mrs. Result of he was shot. I'm gonna say it like that. I'm trying to find the right words. He was shot, and of course he passed. And through that, she chose to donate his organs, not knowing that it was already his choice to begin with. So I want to get more into that. And through that, she also connected with Mid-South Transplant Foundation Incorporated. My family has gone through this organization as well, so I know a little bit about what it's like, the decision you have to make. But this was your son, so it's like you had to make a really hard decision. One, to not be selfish, and then two, to help somebody else. So let's talk a little bit more about the organ donation.
Okay. The organ donation, oh my God. I remember the day the nurse Dunn, and not nurse, but the applicant from Mid-South Transplant. Her name was Dawn. And when I saw her that day in the hospital, I saw a light up on this lady. She had red hair, and I call her my angel. I do. And she was so amazing. She was so gentle with me. And my aunt, Josephine, she was there with me. So she came in, and she was like, Miss Viola, we're going to make this process easy for you. She said, I want you to know, if you decide not to donate everything, you can pick and choose what you would like to donate. And so I did. I donated Albert pancreas, his lungs, his heart, the sac around his heart, his kidneys. Y'all, I don't remember everything, but I think it was 7 to 8 things. I know he saved 7 to 8 lives through his death. And I have gotten letters from each of them. But the only one that I really wanted to meet, and I asked God, I said, Lord, I desire to meet the gentleman that has, the person that has Albert's heart. Okay. And so God honored that prayer, and I did.
And there is a picture in this. This came out in the summer of 2015, and there's a picture of Mrs. Viola and the recipient. And I'm sure to this day you all still keep in contact. And
yes, we do. Oh my God, yes, we do. We went down. This is like a traditional thing every year.
Okay.
We go down for Thanksgiving every year, but this year I went down on Albert's birthday because it fell a day before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And they was like, with their family tradition for birthdays, they make the person's favorite dish.
Okay.
So Albert's favorite dish was hot wings and fish.
Oh my goodness.
And chocolate cake. And so that's what we had. We had a spread of food. Mr. Whitmire's sister-in-law came over. I mean, we had even the dogs was in the house, y'all. So we had such an awesome time. And when we come, they show so much hospitality. We stay at their guest house. And so they're, for next year, they're remodeling the guest house for us to come. And she's like, we're going to have it so nice for you for next year. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. And so it's so amazing. So I have gained a new sister. Her name is Lisa. And she loves me, guys. And we get along so good. I am so blessed through the whole process. I'm blessed.
That is amazing. You never know who needs what, who's out there. Oh my God.
So I encourage you, please donate life. Please do not be selfish. In the dream that God gave me to let me know that that Albert is so restored, I saw him in a dream and I said, Albert, I said, you donated your organs and they embalmed you. Look at you, you alive and well. So guys, I encourage you, please become donors. And no, they do not know when you come in if you're a donor. They did not know that Albert was a donor.
Okay.
So
we have a phone
don't
call.
let that discourage you.
Let's go to the phones. KLEK.
Hello, good morning.
Hey, Miss Farrell.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, guys.
Good morning.
I think I met you at the Black Business Association when we had it at the what was it?
It was at the Hilton, the Black Business Expo.
At the Hilton. At the Hilton.
Yes, ma'am.
I think I met you there. But I just wanted to call in. I think that's a good thing what you're doing, what you have done. And I'm an organ. I've written on the back of my driver's license that I would like to be a donor. You know, in case of passing of my life, if they could use some of my organs. So I challenge people to sign their driver's license or write it down in your will or write it on something so people, because like you said, there can be a life you needed and could use those organs.
That is
and they
so
can
true.
live on with somebody.
Yes, and we as African Americans, we're number one on the transplant list for, I think it's kidneys. We're number one on the list for that. So we really
diabetes probably in our race so much.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a cousin that had a liver transplant, which is very, very rare.
Wow.
And she's it's been about 5 or maybe it's been about 7 or 8 years back, but she's having little complications with it now. But for 7 years, she did good, but she takes so much medicine, but she's still alive, so that's a good thing, you know.
Yes.
Somebody did donate a liver.
That's right.
So,
That is so
I
true.
encourage people to do that, and y'all have a good day.
You too. Thank you for sharing.
And we thank you for the call, Mrs.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to call you so I can get an article in the newspaper.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
All right, well, we'll make sure that you get a copy.
Yeah, I will. I'll call you soon.
All right, take care, Mrs. Farrell.
Okay, thank you. Y'all have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And of course, if you would like to call, the phone number is 870-277-1080. Once again, the phone number is 870-277-1080. We're speaking with the ladies for Colors for a Cause.
I apologize. I didn't give the phone number out earlier in the show. I want to go back to talking about some of the actions. Is on your brochure, it says, "We take action. We stand in agreement with the Brady campaign to save the lives of our youth by educating." The book, Mrs. Viola, you can give her a call at 870-816-5837. Again, the number is 870-816-5837. Let's talk about the grief camps for a little bit, and then we'll go into talking about the promise blanket, because I really want to hear more about how that got started as well.
Okay. My grief camp is called Camp Albert, and it's named after Albert, of course. And God gave me a vision to start a grief camp, especially to start in my hometown, Helena, West Helena, because you have heard and seen so much gun violence taking place there. And a lot of the youth has lost siblings. And so I was like, God, what can I do for them during the summer? And God gave me a vision to start the grief camp. And the grief camp, it consists of more than just grief.
Okay.
The kids, they learn how to express their feelings through creative writing. Okay. So they're able to write their feelings. And so that's what inspired me to write Tears from the Heart.
And we definitely want to talk about your book. She also has a book out. I'm sorry, I got everything laid out here. She has a book called Tears of the Heart. Now, this book was written how soon after your son passed?
It was written, I'd say 6 months.
Okay.
And Albert was a writer too. He wrote poetry.
Okay.
So I wanted the world to see his heart on paper.
Okay.
And God had given me a vision 6 years before this book came forth. God gave me a vision that I had wrote a book. He showed me the color of the book and everything, not knowing that this vision was going to come forth through the death of my son.
Wow.
We got some more Facebook shout-outs. Kobe Parker says, "You all are too funny this morning." We appreciate that. Also, we got some couple more likes. Also, shout out to Paula Perto, who is listening from Jackson, Mississippi.
Also, Kobe Parker, he's going to do some work with me with his organization, Men's on a Mission, the mentoring group that he has for the youth. He's going to take part in our summer camp, Camp Albert, this summer.
That is wonderful. And I would love to see more organizations around town. There's another one that we interviewed, Gentlemen and Ladies Maintaining Order. They're all about reducing violence, especially gun violence. So I would love to see them partner with you at some point.
Oh, wow, that would be amazing.
You know, it takes a community to raise and build a community. So that was one of, like, I posted some different Kwanzaa principles, and that was one of the principles. If we don't look out for ourselves, nobody else will. No matter what community, it's not about a race or ethnicity. It's just about a community.
Exactly.
So we have to look out for ourselves, or no one else will. And so, okay, let's transition into talking about the promise blanket. You mentioned, I see in the picture here that the children are writing, I guess, notes on on fabric.
They're signing their signatures.
And they're taking this promise.
The pledge.
The pledge. It says promise blanket. I promise not to resolve issues by the use of a gun, not to touch a gun loaded or unloaded, to use my eyes and ears to help my school to help keep my school and community safe. A promise blanket is presented to each school to be signed by each student and displayed. So where is this particular blanket displayed?
This blanket is displayed in the hallway in Nettleton High School.
Okay.
That junior high, I'm sorry.
Okay.
They were the first to take the pledge.
Oh, wow.
And each blanket is created in each school's colors.
Oh, okay. Because I noticed that it's yellow or gold, and they're writing in black. So black and gold for Nettleton.
Yeah.
Okay. And then so isn't Jonesboro pretty much black and gold too?
I think so. Is it Jonesboro High School?
My son look here and I should know.
I really don't know about Jonesboro.
So have you reached out to Jonesboro High School or the junior high schools?
No. I'm going to tell you the story with that. The mayor of Jonesboro, I met him through the Arkansas Christian Journal. You remember when we had our red ribbon that day? And I had given him a flyer. And the gentleman that's over the school system, he had emailed me back and forth, but we never set a date. So that is in the process. That is in the making for this year.
All right.
Because I know I have Barton School lined up.
Oh, wow.
I have Forest City KIP School lined up for this year.
Okay.
Then I just finished Jeff Wall, the elementary. Then I'm going back to do, because the gun violence month is June.
Okay.
So since school get out in May, I'm going to do something with them in the month of May. And I'm trying to pull with the radio station there in the community so we can do a big event.
Of course, a question I have for you ladies is, are you all partnering with law enforcement in the communities as well as other agencies? And let's talk a little bit about your partnership with law enforcement and some of these other nonprofits and other businesses and organizations that help you guys out with your ladies' mission.
Arkansas Christian Journal was one.
Okay.
It's like she would cover me basically every school that I went to, it was notated in the Arkansas Christian Journal. So she was a blessing to me.
That's wonderful.
And then also Jonesboro Police Department, they has partnered with me.
And Jonesboro Police Chief Rick Elliott will join us tomorrow on Community Conversations.
And then also Nettleton Junior High, the ladies of the extension, Gentlemen of Knowledge.
Okay.
Then West Helena School District has partnered with me also. And then also KIP in Forest City.
And what exactly is KIP? I'm sorry.
It's
It stands for Knowledge is Power Program. It's a charter school. They have a school in Helena, West Helena. They have one in Forest City, and they have one in Blytheville.
Okay.
And also my son, he attended KIP in Helena, West Helena.
Okay.
I mean in Helena, I'm sorry.
Okay. So let's tell us more about his life. You said that at first organ donation, you thought about it. It was, you're playing around with it, but you didn't know that he was already, he had already decided to be an organ donor before you made the decision as well. And it's amazing that, how old was he?
He, at the time that when he received his driver's license, he was 18.
Wow. And most 18-year-olds are not thinking on that level.
They're not.
And it took me until I was in my later 20s before I decided to check off organ donation. I hope my organs are still.
My daughter, his baby sister, she just received her driver's license, and she's 16. She became a donor. She's a donor.
Since you brought up your other children, I definitely want to highlight your other children, and get a feel of how they felt going through this process. Because yes, you're the mother going through the process, but they lost a sibling as well, and then just having to meet all these new people that received his organs and the whole process. So please highlight that.
It was very hard for Albert's little brother, London.
Okay.
He would have nightmares. When we first moved to Jonesboro, we could not go into a barber shop. If he would see a gentleman with dreads, tall and dark, he'll just get angry and say, they did that to me. He did that. And I'm like, London, no, he did not do that. That's not the person that did that. So it was very hard for him. My daughter, very hard for her. I saw her go through. I'm not going to indicate some of the things that she went through, but you know, a lot of times I discuss those things when I go out to certain areas. I discuss what she went through.
Okay.
But by the grace of God, she made it through. You know, she was like my rock for me.
Okay.
Never once did I see her grieve his death. She did not grieve it.
No crying, no outward emotions.
For the first 3 years, she did not. The first time I ever saw her break down was last year in July when she was washing dishes in the sink. And all of a sudden, I was in the front room watching television, and I hear this loud scream. I went into the kitchen. I said, Jada, what is wrong? She said, when I looked down in the dishwater as I was washing the dishes, I saw Albert's hands. My hands looked like his. Oh, wow. And it went back to her and him spending time in the kitchen washing dishes. She would always sit at the table, and he would have on these pajamas, these plaid pajamas, and they was kind of big, you know, and he was the type of person that would drag his feet through the house, and so his pajamas was kind of hooked up on his pants. She's like, my mind just went back to that, and we would have so much fun in the kitchen. This the time him and I would share alone in the kitchen. And so that was the first time I ever experienced her grieving. And I encourage anyone, especially African American people, we got this thing, this stigma, not to go talk to a counselor. Take your kids to get counseling, guys, please. Even I myself, yes, I love the Lord, but we're a three-part being, and all three-part being must be treated. Let's use wisdom, people. And so I took both of my kids and myself also.
Amen. Amazing.
And I just want to add to that, you know, counseling, I actually go to a therapist myself. If you don't, if you have an aversion to traditional therapists or quote unquote shrink, there are lots of therapists, and the one that I see, Fistus, that actually approach psychotherapy from a Christian perspective.
Exactly.
You know, they don't just, you know, they'll talk to you, and of course, yes, they will use the techniques that they were trained in college to use, but you know, they'll, like with mine, you know, they'll also incorporate the Bible in there. And of course, now if you're a person who is not religious, you know, you can still see a traditional therapist, you know, and even my therapist, who her main approach is a Christian perspective, but you know, she does have non-believers that she sees, and if she sees a non-believer, then she, you know, takes the Christian part, you know, out, because you know, at the end of the day, it's also about serving the person's needs. But you can get counseling and you can get therapy, and still, you know, get spiritually fed. So, you know, I just want to add that as someone who suffers from depression himself. We got about 30 seconds left. Once again, ladies, identify yourselves.
I am Viola Turner, the CEO and Director of Colors for a Cause.
And I'm Valarie Peoples.
All right, and you are tuned to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM, streaming live on Facebook, streaming live on YouTube, and of course, phone lines are open at 870-277-1080. Once again, the phone number is 877-277-1080. We'll be back with more. You listen to Community Conversations, and this is KLEK 102.5 FM.
One night at Legends Barbecue Smokehouse, 1025 West Johnson Avenue in Jonesboro. Don't be the one that misses out. Get your tickets now. This event is a KLEK fundraiser.
From the KLEK Community Calendar, New Life Empowerment Development Centers Incorporated presents free computer classes. The classes cover a variety of topics such as introduction to computers, Microsoft Office, operating systems, the internet, email, social media, and Android and Apple devices. More information is available at 870-933-6462 or 870-277-6462.
Experience the joy with Bishop Adrian R. Rogers of Fullness of Joy Church, 3307 Ray Street, Jonesboro, Arkansas, 72401.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
And we're back on Community Conversations on KLEK with the ladies from Colors for a Cause. And we've had a lively discussion about their nonprofit organization. We've got another Facebook comment, just want to read right quick. And this, again, comes from Paula Purtle. She says, counseling is not only vital, but in cases of extreme trauma, can also be free. And shout out to Men on a Mission and the two other people who have shared this video. We definitely appreciate you spreading the word about this organization and the hard work that these ladies do for the community.
Alrighty, so I wanted to give Mrs. Viola a chance to follow up with what we're talking about off air. I know that it's hard for any parent, anyone that has lost a family member, especially a child, to murder. I don't know, all deaths are hard, but it's something about a murder that is like, I don't know, different. But I wanted her to share her thoughts and her feelings on the young man who committed the crime, you know, where the case is now, how things are turning out, and just some final thoughts that you have. So I'm going to let you have these last few moments. And then Ms. Valarie, if you would like to come in with any final thoughts, you know, please have your way. So.
Okay, everyone, the young man that was charged with Albert's murder, he was 16 years old at the time that it happened, so he was a baby himself. I thank God that God did not allow unforgiveness in my heart. The first night that we found that Albert had been shot, I went into forgiveness and I took communion that night, my family and I. And so dealing with Tory Anderson, God has led me to always pray for him, especially when it first happened. I would pray for him, his mom, anybody that was connected to him, I would pray. For me, being a mother, to lose a child like that, for someone to take my baby's life and his future was so bright, I turned from planning a wedding to a funeral. It's like a spiritual, it's like something missing out of my heart. When I lost Albert that day, it was like a part of my heart left me. Yes, I know I do have the other two, but still, that was my firstborn. And it was two other men involved, but they brought them in for questioning, but it was circumstantial evidence. But Tory Anderson, he did admit to being on the scene, and he did admit to shooting. And my son was the innocent bystander. He had nothing to do with the altercation that had occurred earlier that day. My son was standing at the door knocking. And once he heard the guys drive up and all the commotion started, he turned to the left to try to run or, you know, to try to take cover. And the bullet hit him in the left temple.
Oh my goodness. So I hate to say wrong place, wrong time, but sometimes it can be. And I have a 19-year-old son, and I try to warn him.
Wiggle that connect.
Okay.
We got to hum, but go ahead, continue. I'll deal with it.
I try to warn him, be mindful of your surroundings. And, you know, your son was a good son, a good boy. My son is not, you know, a horrible child. I do think he makes some poor decisions, but overall, he's still a good child. And I pray for him daily. Anytime he walks out of my door, Lord, be a fence around him, because he is not as mindful of his surroundings as I would like for him to be. So it finds within himself to turn his life around. And so tell us how the case is going.
It's been an ongoing case, guys, for about 4 years. I'm getting ready to go back April the 17th. Memphis is so bagged up with court cases. So I go back April the 17th. But this what God did speak for this year, that this year will be the end to this right here. And I can finally put my son to rest. That's all I want to do, finally put Albert to rest.
Okay.
And we definitely pray for the closure and resolution and healing, and we definitely claim that in Jesus' name.
Yes, Lord.
Amen.
Amen. I just want to, thank you guys for having me here today. This has been a very, experience. It's been a great experience. And, just to give shout out to my very own church, Anointed Praise Outreach Ministries, and my very own pastor, Apostle Lizzie Mays Sanders. And I'm just honored to be here and be a part and be on the board.
Thank you, my mate Charles Henry, for sticking by me. I appreciate you and I love you. Jada and London, thank you guys for supporting me with all that I do. I love you guys.
And I want to mention the different people's names that are listed on your board of directors. Janice Williams, Apostle Matthew Matt King, Diane Sanders, Valerie Peoples, who's here, Helen Nelson, and is it Nakisha Speed. Nakisha Speed. Oh, I know that name. Okay. Okay. So thank you all for all that you do for the community. If anyone would like to book Mrs. Viola to come and speak, this topic can be talked about forever, and it needs to be talked about.
Even in the church.
Forever.
I even go in the church and teach concerning to gun violence and share my testimony as well.
So we need to get the word out there. Again, you can reach Mrs. Viola at 870-816-5837. And she also has a Facebook page. Do you have a Colors for a Cause Facebook page?
I do.
Okay. So look her up on Facebook as well. Like the page, leave a comment, send a message. Get her booked for your events. We want to see her more in Jonesboro as well. I'm grateful that God has allowed her to go outside of Jonesboro, but we also need to hear in town. So
and then also, guys, I got a new book that's coming out. And also, if you can, please order my book, Tears of the Heart. It's inspirational writing / poetry. It has some of Albert's writing. And I wrote that book to encourage the hearts of many. And then I also have a children's book that's coming out, London the Busy Bee and his best pal, Paris.
All right. So,
and we got another Facebook shout out to Kevin E. Donahue.
Okay, thank you. And thank you to all of you out there that are listening and watching. We couldn't do this without you. And thank you for all your support, all of our donors, supporters, sponsors. So we thank you so much.
Thank you. Love everyone. Thank you, guys.
Love you guys.
And thank you, ladies, for stopping by the studio. And may God continue to bless each and every one of you. This video will be available on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. And Lord, thank you for allowing the equipment to actually work. We've been working hard to enhance this experience for you. Jonesboro Police Chief Rick Elliott joins us tomorrow. This is a community conversation. You guys have a great and blessed day. This is KLEK 102.5 FM.
Thank you for listening to Community Conversations on KLEK